Nightshift, Part 2, by Charles Swain, narrated by Vince V. With a stern breath, Gemini extended his hand toward Libra, whose scales rested perfectly balanced beside his throne. "Open the portal," Gemini commanded. "They are ready." Libra inclined his head, and with a circular motion of his palm, the orb began to shift. Space groaned as a gateway ruptured open within the folds of the dreamverse. From the portal stepped 5 warriors. Michael was first, leather jacket slightly tattered, jeans scuffed, and his hands in his pockets like a man who just walked out of a bar fight. Valerie, the Valkyrie, descended with the grace of a hawk. Her silver and blue armor gleamed despite the storm forming around them. Erika, cloaked in a robe lined with glyphs and laced with arcane energy, looked more scholar than soldier, but her eyes crackled with the fury of distant storms. Warren, ever nimble and poised, tail flicking, brushed raindrops off the rim of his feathered hat. And Sophia, lean and silent, adjusting the twin daggers strapped at her hips, her eyes scanning the grocery store with the practiced glance of a thief. Rain poured down in merciless curtains. The building loomed, a skeletal shadow of steel and glass, wrapped in darkened air like the tomb of some ancient beast.
"All right,"
Michael said, rubbing his jaw.
"No door, just a big-ass metal shutter bolted down tighter than airport security."
Erika stepped forward without a word, her hands glowing in pale blue. Frost crept along the shutter's surface, cracking as if the air itself recoiled from her magic.
"Then we make one,"
she muttered. Valerie, without pause, raised her shield and hurled herself forward with a cry. The brittle shutter exploded into shards beneath her strike, splinters of steel raining down like hail. Sophia blinked.
"Okay, what in the world? How did you two even pull that off?"
Michael smirked and tapped the side of his head.
"Cold makes metal cranky. Erika basically gave it arthritis."
Inside the store was a silent graveyard of abandoned aisles and flickering bulbs.
"Scott!"
Valerie called into the darkness. Her voice echoed eerily down rows of expired produce and collapsed shelves. Sophia's eyes dropped to the floor. Something was there. A hand. Half decayed, lifeless. Warren stepped around the corner and sniffed the air. "Well, this must have been the pet department," he muttered, noting the spiders that crept across the floor and the snakes that slithered in the broken freezer units.
"Shut up and look for Scott,"
Erika snapped. From the shadows came a low groan. Michael shivered.
"I really hope that was Warren's stomach."
Valerie halted, raising her hand again.
"Wait, I see someone."
A figure shambled from the darkness. No, not Scott. Its flesh sagged like wet parchment, its eyes dull and hungering. Valerie stepped back, unsheathing her blade.
"Zombies."
There were dozens. Michael stumbled, arms out.
Hey! Appreciate the surprise party, but really, a birthday card would have been enough.
Erika growled.
"Oh, shut up and fight."
"I'm the chosen one, remember?"
He quipped.
"You're all supposed to protect me."
With no further warning, Erika extended both arms.
Yell spiral!
She shouted, her spell unleashing a cyclone of wind that hurled half a dozen corpses against the far wall, bones cracking like kindling. Warren followed up. Arrow boom! He loosed 3 explosive arrows into the oncoming mob, sending limbs and bone fragments skittering across the tile. Valerie fought at the front. Her blade sang with every stroke, cutting down the dead with precision, while her shield crushed skulls before jaws could snap shut. She was a wall of steel, unmoving and unyielding. Through the chaos, Sophia cocked her head and listened. Barking. A dog. She turned toward the sound.
Gemini?
She said.
Is that a dog I hear?
From the distance of Terminus, his voice reached her.
The dog is not the objective. Focus on Scott.
What happens to the dog?
She asked, already moving.
He dies. Every time. The dream repeats this trauma again and again.
She stopped cold.
Oh, heck no.
Sophia, do not deviate from the mission.
I'm a vet in the real world, Gemini. This is my job. I don't walk away from any animal.
The door where the barking came from was locked tight. Sophia knelt before the panel. Her fingers moved with elegant precision. Within seconds, the lock clicked open. Inside, the room was a nest of horror. The dog, a beautiful shepherd, blood slicked and cornered, snarled at the surrounding undead. Sophia didn't hesitate. She whistled, sharp and piercing. The creatures turned, their groans becoming frenzied. Once they turned around, she ran. The horde followed. As she reached the edge of the aisle, she tossed a vial over her shoulder.
Infernal oil.
It exploded on contact, bathing the corpses in flame. Once the fire settled, Sophia turned back to the dog, breath ragged.
I'm not here to hurt you.
Michael had followed her, now stepping around the scorched bones. He stared at the growling shepherd.
I really hope that thing's had its rabies shot.
Sophia glared at him.
He's scared, that's all. Just scared.
She moved closer, extending her hand.
Where's your human boy? Where's Scott?
The dog whimpered, and then his ears twitched. He turned his head to the far end of the store, where something deeper was stirring in the dark. From the far end of the store, a shadow stumbled forward. Sophia reached instinctively for her dagger again, until the dim overhead bulbs flickered enough to reveal a man in a blood-splattered security uniform.
Scott!
Sophia gasped. The man rushed forward, limping but alive. When his eyes landed on the dog beside Sophia, he practically collapsed beside it, wrapping his arms around the trembling creature.
Oh, thank God, he whispered. You're alive.
Yeah,
Michael said, arms crossed.
and you're welcome. But before we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, maybe you want to tell us what the hell's going on here?
Scott looked up at them, eyes wild and tired.
I should be asking you that. Who are you people?
We're dream warriors.
Valerie said, stepping forward, voice steady.
We're here to help guide you out of this nightmare. This isn't real, at least. Not in the way you think. You're asleep, Scott. You're dreaming.
Scott blinked at them, slack-jawed. But then he glanced around at the carnage, the flame-scorched linoleum, the trail of gore smeared across the freezer doors. The dog whimpered beside him.
Yeah, he muttered. Honestly, that actually makes more sense than anything else.
Good.
Michael said, clapping his hands.
So, question 2. How do we get out of here?
Scott looked at them expectantly.
Well,
Michael added.
every dream has a hidden portal. It's like an escape hatch. Problem is, it only opens when you get close enough, or when the main nightmare threat is neutralized. But since the zombies are toast and the portal still hasn't opened, that means the real threat is still alive.
The group turned toward the doors, but a voice, cold and sharp like splintered ice, slithered through the air behind them.
Not so fast.
From the shadowed wreckage of the far aisle, a figure emerged, gliding rather than walking. Her feet hovered inches above the ground. Her robes flowed like black oil, her skin stretched thin across sunken cheekbones, her eyes yellow like rotted fruit. Veins of green magic pulsed from her fingertips.
Where do you think you're going?
She hissed.
I haven't even started having fun yet.
Warren's ears perked. He recoiled slightly, eyes wide. Whoa! Somebody definitely hit every branch on the way down. The witch's eyes flared. Flames erupted from her palm with a hiss, curling skyward. Valerie stepped in front of Scott, raising her shield.
Run!
She snapped.
Take your dog and get the hell out of here.
Scott didn't hesitate. He scooped the dog into his arms and sprinted toward the shattered back entrance. Michael stepped forward, casual as ever, hands in his pockets.
I gotta ask,
He said.
why are you haunting grocery stores now? Shouldn't you be living in a gingerbread house and baking children into pies or something?
The witch shrieked, her body jolting with fury. Her attention snapped to the dream warriors.
I curse this land.
She said, voice rattling like bones in a box.
Centuries ago, they murdered my sister here. Burned her like kindling. Now, I will make sure this place never forgets.
Michael scoffed.
So you're punishing people who had nothing to do with it? You know, most people get therapy, not blood vengeance.
She grinned wide and crooked.
Innocence means nothing to me.
Sophia leaned toward Michael.
This is a witch's curse. There are only 2 ways to break it.
Michael turned his head.
Let me guess. She apologizes and buys a Starbucks?
No.
Erika interjected.
She lives it willingly, or she dies.
The witch's laugh twisted the air.
Oh, you'll all die. But not before your tendons are unraveled like thread. Not before your nerves are cut one by one from your flesh. I'll pull you apart and wear your agony.
Valerie stepped forward.
We're not letting you torment this dream any longer.
The witch raised her arms, magic coiling like serpents around her fingertips. The witch's hands clenched into claws, her face twisting into a mask of fury as she began chanting in a foreign tongue, ancient and full of bile. The temperature in the store plummeted. The flickering lights above sparked and died, and the floor beneath their feet began to tremble. The dream warrior stepped forward, eyes narrowed, blades drawn, spells readied. They knew this was it, the final battle for Scott's soul, and they would not fail. Suddenly, the walls of the store began to creak and groan. Bone, fused ancient, fossil-like, emerged from inside the drywall, twisting with grotesque animation. Skulls leered from within the foundations, their empty sockets glowing with hellish red.
I shall melt your heads upon my walls, Dream Warrior, like trophies!
The witch's cloak flared open like the wings of a bat, and then came the transformation. Her skin ruptured like wet parchment, and from beneath it, muscles swelled grotesquely. Her jaw split down the middle with a sickening crack, and 2 more gaping maws tore themselves forth from either shoulder. Her body grew, ripping apart the ceiling, bones snapping into monstrous new angles, until what stood before them was no longer a witch, but a hulking Cerberus, each head snarling with a different voice. Its fur was like coarse soot, stitched in places with human hair. Its fangs, rows of them, dripped with molten saliva, and its height, over 100 feet. The grocery store exploded around her transformation, steel beams clattering like twigs, ceiling tiles tumbling like confetti in a funeral storm. Warren groaned, clutching his ribs. Well, aren't you a cop in the waking world? Can't you do something about this? Valerie gritted her teeth, pulling herself upright, her spear dragging behind her.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Read the creature its Miranda rights?
Fair point. Above, Sophia, quick as ever, dodged a massive swipe of one enormous paw. She backflipped from the beast's claw, leapt into its forearm, and sprinted up its shoulder. Her poison-tipped daggers glinted in the firelight.
Come on, big guy.
She called.
Let's see how tough you are when I introduce you to a little venom.
But the Cerberus only smiled, 1,000 teeth gleaming.
Gravity vortex!
It roared. A shimmering pulse radiated from its central head. The very air thickened. The world around the Dream Warriors felt as if it had been glued to the floor. Sophia's feet faltered. She collapsed mid-run, the weight of her limbs like iron shackles. Warren screamed, "What the hell is this? I can't move. I can't even lift my bow." The gravity clawed at them, forcing them down, knees pressed into the cracked pavement. Sophia plummeted off the creature's shoulder and slammed into the street. The asphalt split open beneath her. Valerie groaned in agony, speaking telepathically, desperate, fearful.
Gemini, please! What's happening? What do we do?
Her voice echoed into the ether. From above in Terminus, Gemini's calm demeanor cracked with concern.
The witch has cast a gravity spell.
Gemini's voice echoed telepathically into the minds of the Dream Warriors, a calm eye in the midst of their horror.
Your center of gravity is being manipulated. Her concentration is the key. Break it, and the hold will shatter.
Erika strained, her arms trembling under the invisible weight, her breath shallow.
Gemini, how the hell am I supposed to attack if I can't even lift my arms?
Sophia, her body half submerged in the cracked street, clenched her teeth as the pavement pressed deeper into her skin.
It feels like I'm sinking into quicksand. This is impossible.
Valerie groaned beside a crushed mailbox. Her body fell forward, one gauntleted hand planted to the ground. Her face was faint, ragged, desperate.
My armor, it feels like it weighs 5,000 pounds. I can't breathe.
Back in Terminus, Gemini stood, his golden cloak sweeping behind him.
You are their leader.
His voice cracked through the crushing silence in Valerie's head.
They depend on you. And this is the best you can do?
I can't.
She gasped out. Her lips split and bloodied.
You can't or you won't?
Gemini asked. His voice hardened, tempered like steel in the forge.
As of now, I can see you kneeling, Valerie. Tell me, do knights kneel to overlords?
She gritted her teeth.
No.
Do knights kneel to false gods, to devourers of the innocent?
Her voice rose.
No!
Do they kneel before evil witches who only live to spread suffering?
A scream tore from her throat, not of fear, but defiance.
No!
Valerie's legs buckled, the armor cracked. Red poured freely from beneath the plating, staining the ground beneath her. Her shoulder guards split, splintering like glass under pressure. Her muscles screamed, her bones shook, but her will stood taller than any tower. Through squinted eyes and clenched fists, she rose. Disbelief swept the group. Warren's mouth hung open, his words caught in his throat. Erika, bruised and broken, stared as if witnessing a miracle. Even Sophia, unable to rise herself, whispered through the pain.
How?
Valerie did not speak. Her blade rose skyward. Even as the circlet upon her brow cut into her scalp, blood dripping down over her right eye, she shouted with all the fury her soul could muster.
Valiant edge, heaven splitter!
With a mighty cry, her sword danced through the air in splashing arcs, each movement leaving behind glowing trails of light. Those trails shimmered like moonlit steel and moved, widening, lengthening, and streaking across the sky toward the Cerberus. They crashed into the beast's limbs, its tail, its spine, severing illusions, burning flesh. creating deep fissures through its magical form. The beast howled. The sky quaked. The gravity around them lifted. Gemini's voice thundered into their minds.
Now! Strike! Strike while it reels!
Warren sprang to his feet, bow in hand, 3 arrows glowing bright with runes.
Triad pierce!
He cried. The arrows soared and landed with thuds deep in the beast's hind leg. The Cerberus howled and lashed its tail in rage. The warriors ducked, narrowly avoiding a sweeping blow that shattered a nearby power pole. Erika seized the moment. "Let's see you absorb this!" she snarled, and with one hand raised high, she chanted an incantation of ancient words, summoning a bolt of lightning that tore down from the clouds.
Thunder fall!
But too late.
Reflector maledictus!
The Cerberus bellowed. The bolt halted midair. The air shimmered. Then, with an explosion of silver energy, it bent, curved, and redirected straight toward the Dream Warriors. There was no time to dodge. A cacophony of sound and heat swallowed them. Warren flew into the side of a semi-truck, crumpling its side, the roof denting under the impact. Valerie was blasted clean through the windshield, tumbling into the driver's seat amidst broken glass. Erika and Sophia were hurled through the glass windows of a nearby department store, bodies crashing into mannequins and steel racks before tumbling out the other side in a cloud of dust and blood. Erika winced, coughing.
I hate reflex spells.
She looked around, her voice hoarse.
Sophia, are you alive?
A groan.
I think I saw a sign back there that said, "Buy one, get one free on heels." Maybe we can go shopping later.
Erika glared through swollen eyes.
I swear, if you joke one more time...
The Cerberus stood still for a moment, its 3 monstrous heads rising against the swirling landscape. A stillness fell. Then, in a voice that echoed from every direction and none, it spoke. Not with rage, but with something colder.
I grow weary of this charade.
It said, its words a whisper of rot and fire.
No more trials, no more games. It is time for all of you to meet your end.
All 3 heads open wide, snarling in unison.
Flesh harvest.
The ground began to quake. At first, it was a low tremor. Then came the tearing. Soil split apart in jagged lines, and from deep below, thick, pulsing vines shot upward. They were coated in dark green thorns that dripped with some unnatural ichor. The vines slithered like snakes beneath the warriors, moving too fast to avoid. They struck. With brutal precision, the vines coiled around arms, legs, and torsos. Thorns punctured skin, digging deep into flesh and muscle. Blood welled at every point of contact. Sophia shrieked, her voice cracking with agony. Tears filled her eyes.
Gemini! What's happening? It hurts! It hurts so much! This pain! It's ungodly!
From afar, Gemini watched from the crystal spire of Terminus, eyes cold but burning with a hidden anguish. He couldn't allow himself to show it, not now.
Hold firm,
He said telepathically.
You've all been poisoned. That is why the pain cuts so deep.
Michael winced. His body arched in pain as thorns twisted deeper into his arms. Even then, he tried to laugh, his voice strained.
But this is a dream, right? Shouldn't it hurt less than real life? This is worse than passing a kidney stone.
No,
Gemini answered.
the mind cannot distinguish reality from illusion in the dream state. All pain here will feel as real and as fatal as in the waking world.
A sickening sound tore through the air. The vines began to spin as if caught in a bone saw. The vines twisted faster and faster, the thorns grinding through sinew and bone. Sophia screamed. Her leg was severed. She collapsed, the vines still coiled around the ruined stump. Valerie's eyes widened with horror.
Sophia!
She cried, forcing one hand free with a brutal tug that tore open her wrist. Blood ran down her forearm as she took up her sword with her only free hand. With a furious cry, she slashed the vines, binding her other limbs, and ran to Sophia. Valerie dropped to her knees beside her comrade, hacking at the vines that remained around Sophia's trembling body.
I've got you, hold on.
Erika, meanwhile, pressed her palms together. Fire erupted from her hands, bathing the vines around her in a torrent of flames. She wasted no time, turning her flames onto Michael and Warren, burning the vines constraining them. Michael rushed to Sophia's side, cradling her upper body. Her breathing was shallow, blood soaked into the dream soil beneath her.
My leg. It's gone.
She whispered, eyes glassy with terror.
I know.
Michael said softly, brushing hair from her face.
I'm here. You're going to be okay, I swear.
Warren's fist clenched. Fire flared in his eyes. No one hits my comrades, he growled. No one. Erika stood beside him, eyes locked on the towering Cerberus.
Agreed.
Valerie rose slowly, her sword dripping with sap and blood. Her shield arm trembled slightly, but her eyes were steady.
We're ending this,
she said. Sophia, despite the agony, forced herself upright with Michael's help.
Give that monster hell!
She hissed through clenched teeth. Valerie turned back to the witch, face grim.
Hell?
She said coldly.
We're not just giving it hell. We're sending it there, in pieces.
At that moment, Gemini's eyes widened in Terminus. A voice echoed in his mind, Libra, contacting him from the royal chamber. Gemini, the last group of dream warriors exposed to that spell. They didn't make it. The poison, it killed them in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Gemini's voice cut sharply into the warriors' minds.
Listen to me. You have 10 minutes. If you don't kill the Cerberus by then, the poison will end your lives. And if you fall here, so too does the dreamer.
Michael blinked, stunned.
Wow, 10 minutes. I was hoping for a nap.
No jokes,
Gemini snapped.
You die here, and Scott may be doomed to repeat this dream forever.
A silence fell between the warriors. Then Valerie stepped forward, shield raised.
Then let's make this last 10 minutes count.
Michael knelt beside Sophia, cradling her gently, his mind reeling with Gemini's warning. 10 minutes. That was all the time they had before the poison stole their lives and condemned the dreamer to death. No pressure. He yanked the worn leather strap of his old digital watch, tapping the buttons with shaking fingers.
All right,
He muttered.
10 minutes on the clock, no time for coffee.
Before his thumb could press start, a faint whirring sound sliced the air. Too late. A rusted knife, caked in blood and rot, levitated from the ground and hurled forward like a bullet. It pierced straight through Michael's hand, punching through flesh, muscle, and bone with a sickening crunch. Michael screamed, collapsing to his side. Blood poured from the fresh wound, the watch falling from his grasp and shattering against the jagged stones. His hand twitched uncontrollably. The watch blinked, then went dark. No timer. Across the battlefield, Erika's hands sparked with restrained lightning. She stood perfectly still, eyes on the Cerberus, but she dared not release the magic. Her voice echoed in her mind.
Gemini, I can't use this. The thing reflects spells, doesn't it?
Gemini's voice responded, calm but clipped, his presence like a wind brushing across her thoughts.
Yes, but only elemental magic. Its reflex spell won't work on non-elemental attacks.
That does me no good.
She snapped, heat rising in her cheeks.
Everything I cast is elemental. Fire, lightning, ice. It will all bounce back and kill us faster.
Then get creative,
Gemini replied.
Just because you can't strike it directly doesn't mean you can't strike something else. Look around you. Think, Erika.
She blinked. Behind the Cerberus, half buried in the dream soil, was a massive cylindrical tank, etched in crimson runes and labeled with the dreamer's old signs. A volatile gas tank, glowing faintly with unstable energy. Her eyes lit up. Without warning, Erika threw her arms forward.
Thunder Fan!
She roared. Michael's head jerked up from Sophia's side, his eyes wide in horror.
Are you serious? Did you forget the whole I'm rubber, you're glue scenario we just survived? Have you lost your mind?
He watched the sky split open with a streak of blinding blue. His shoulders sagged.
Well, screw it.
He muttered.
I always wanted to glow in the dark.
But the bolt didn't strike the Cerberus. It struck the gas tank behind it. The explosion was immediate. A searing white flash filled the dreamscape, followed by a shockwave that hurled chunks of earth into the air. Fire engulfed the Cerberus, and for the first time, the beast howled, not in fury, but in pain. Its screams shook the ground, fracturing the landscape beneath the dream warriors. Flames danced across its three heads, melting away fur and armor in smoking clumps. The Cerberus thrashed violently.
You dare!
It screamed, voice now warped with agony.
You wretched insects! You think flame will save you? You think this hurts? Let me show you the true meaning of torment!
The middle head bent low, snarling with hatred.
We will drink your screams!
The left head snapped.
We will wear your skins like robes!
And the right, deep and guttural, whispered.
We will dance in your entrails while your families dream of your last breath.
The very foundation trembled. Rocks cracked. The soil bled. The air turned red as if the dream itself had been poisoned by the Cerberus's rage. The poison crept like vines through the veins of the dream warriors, slow, insidious, draining their strength with every breath. Muscles ached, vision blurred, joints stiffened like rusted gears grinding together. Valerie staggered to one knee, her shield barely raised in time to deflect the oncoming swipe. But the Cerberus didn't relent. Its center head let out a guttural snarl and swung again, this time with brutal precision. Crack! Her shield splintered like glass, shards flying as the force of the blow launched her backward. Her armor shattered along her shoulder and ribs, metal crumpling like paper. Her sword clattered from her grip, skidding across the ground. Valerie! Warren cried, already firing arrows one after another, trying to draw the beast's attention. The arrows barely nicked the Cerberus, but they were enough of an annoyance. It turned. Michael's heart thudded. His hand still trembled from pain, his mind fogged by the creeping venom. But none of that mattered. If he waited, they were all dead. He gently laid Sophia down, brushing a lock of blood-matted hair from her face.
Hey,
He whispered.
I'll be right back, I promise.
Michael set Sophia down onto the ground gently, stood, and turned to see the Cerberus tearing after Warren. Warren was fast, light on his feet, darting between fallen dream wreckage, trucks, debris, and even a shattered dream kiosk. The Cerberus roared in frustration as it smashed through each obstacle, destroying entire vehicles just to keep pace. Glass exploded outward. Smoke choked the battlefield. Michael rushed to Valerie, kneeling beside her. She was bleeding from several deep gashes, armor shredded and stained.
Hey, Val, you still with me?
She winced, but managed to nod, breath shallow and ragged.
Great. I'm stealing your sword.
He picked up her fallen blade, examining it briefly.
I swear I'll return it. I just can't promise what condition it'll be in.
Valerie groaned in response. Whether in pain or sarcasm, he couldn't tell. Michael bolted for a nearby rusted-out sedan. He slid into the front seat and yanked at the exposed wires beneath the dash.
Let's see if 2 months of YouTube can pay off.
He muttered. The engine coughed, then roared to life. He floored it. With one hand on the wheel and the other gripping the sword through the open window, he barreled toward the Cerberus at full speed. Closer. Closer. At the last second, he locked his knees against the steering wheel and used both legs to pin the sword's hilt towards the wheel's frame, just as the car clipped past the Cerberus's right side. The blade sliced clean through the creature's rear leg like a scythe through wheat. Thwack! The Cerberus let out a soul-shattering shriek as its leg was severed completely. The massive beast toppled to its side, blood spraying like a burst hydrant. Michael shouted from the window.
How do you like it, you oversized mutt?
He skidded the car to a halt, panting, then stumbled out to check on Warren.
You still breathing, little guy?
Warren nodded, fur bristled, his bow already in hand. Never better. But then his eyes narrowed. I've got an idea, Warren said, scanning the ground for the fallen blade.
Oh no, I know that look.
Michael muttered.
That's the same look you gave me before you climbed inside a vending machine and took most of the toys from it.
Well, isn't it? Warren said smugly, reaching for the sword. Hand it over. Michael handed him the blade reluctantly.
I swear, if you scratch it, Valerie's gonna feed us both to a nightmare squid.
Warren placed the sword, longer than he was tall, carefully in the cradle of his bow. His paws gripped the drawstring, straining as he pulled it back with all his strength. He took aim. His eyes narrowed. One head down, he muttered. 2 to go. Flip. The sword shot through the air like a missile and buried itself in the central head of the Cerberus. The skull split down the middle. The head gave a wet, gurgling scream before collapsing completely. The body jolted violently. The remaining 2 heads howled in fury and confusion. Above them, Gemini's presence washed over the dreamscape like starlight cutting through a storm.
Erika,
His voice whispered into her mind.
you see it, don't you?
She blinked, eyes locked on the twitching corpse of the center head.
That head cast the reflect spell. It's dead now.
Erika's breath caught.
The barrier's gone. You may use any spell you wish.
Erika's blue eyes glowed, deep and furious, as she took slow, deliberate steps toward the limping Cerberus. The beast growled and staggered, its missing limb dragging it down, slowing every movement. It bared its fangs but could barely stand. The battlefield was quiet for a breath, until Erika raised her hand to the sky and shouted,
Try your curse, glacial vengeance!
A rush of cold exploded from her fingertips, a surge of icy mist spiraling toward the 3-headed beast. The temperature plummeted instantly, frost crawling along the asphalt, trees nearby cracking from the sudden chill. The Cerberus snarled, trying to move, trying to escape, but the cold bit deeper.
What the hell are you doing to me?
It barked furiously, shivering as ice began to coat its fur and pierce its flesh. Erika didn't answer. She focused harder, her power magnifying, liquid nitrogen level cold creeping into the beast's veins. It stumbled, its blood thickened, turning to ice. its movements slowed to jerks, its eyes filled with fury and fear.
You little witch, I'll tear you apart.
Its insult never finished. With one last pulse of Erika's magic, the Cerberus froze solid, its massive form now a towering, unmoving statue of ice. Its eyes still glared, locked in place forever. From behind, Valerie rose to her feet, her body still aching, but her determination shining through. She saw the moment of weakness, and she took it. With a burst of strength, she sprinted forward.
Final rush! Iron shoulder!
She rammed herself shoulder first into the creature's hind legs. Upon impact, the frozen limbs shattered instantly, splinters of icy bone and crystal scattering through the air. The creature's upper body toppled over from the lost support and smashed against the pavement. Glass. That was the only way to describe it. The whole thing shattered like fragile glass, crumbling into sparkling fragments across the street. Then, silence. And healing. As with every dream after a major threat is defeated, the changes began immediately. Valerie's wounds sealed up, her shattered armor reformed, glinting with fresh polish. Erika's robes returned to their unstained, smooth state. Michael felt the burn marks on his hands vanish, and even Sophia's missing leg shimmered and reappeared, perfect, unscarred, as if the bite had never happened. She blinked.
My leg. It's back.
Erika smiled, walking over and extending a hand to help her up.
I gave that thing arthritis.
Michael snorted as he walked past, muttering under his breath.
She stole my joke.
Valerie, still catching her breath, placed her hand on her chest.
Wait. What about the poison?
Gemini's voice echoed gently in their minds, calm and reassuring.
The infection is gone. The moment the threat was neutralized, the dream's magic reversed its effects. You are all fine now.
Valerie exhaled a deep sigh of relief, but immediately followed it up with another, more annoyed one.
Great. Now we've got to find where that damn dreamer scampered off to.
Michael glanced around, rubbing his chin.
If it were me, and I was scared out of my mind, I'd go where I felt safe. Police station's the first bet.
Not a bad idea.
Erika said.
Except, none of us know where the hell the police station is.
Michael wandered back to the car he'd used to cripple the Cerberus. The engine was still humming. He leaned inside and tapped the center console.
Well, lucky us.
He smirked.
This baby's got a GPS.
He turned back to the others.
Everyone in. I'll get us there.
I call shotgun.
Erika chimed quickly, skipping toward the passenger door. Michael climbed into the driver's seat and punched in police station into the GPS. The system beeped and began giving directions as the others climbed into the back seats. With everyone buckled in, he grinned and floored it.
Maybe we stop at the bar on the way back, huh? First round's on me.
Erika rolled her eyes.
Why are you always obsessed with drinking?
Before he could answer, Sophia cut in.
You're not old enough to drink.
Michael shrugged, eyes on the road.
If I'm old enough to go to war, old enough to get blown up, old enough to vote for the guy who sends me to war, I'm old enough to have a drink.
Sophia hesitated.
I mean, I see your point. But still, the law's the law.
Exactly.
Erika said, folding her arms.
And we are not letting you break it on our watch.
Michael exhaled and stared ahead.
Hey, Gemini, what do you think about this?
There was a pause, and then the Zodiac King's voice resonated once more.
Your world is governed by its own rules. The dream realm honors that. You must show respect to the laws of your realm.
Michael groaned.
Man, even in a dream I can't get a drink.
The others chuckled lightly as the GPS finally chirped, "Your destination is ahead on the right." The car pulled up in front of the darkened, flickering sign that read Northside Police Department. As the car pulled up, its tires skidding slightly on the cracked pavement, the Dream Warriors spotted a familiar figure stepping through the station's front doors. Scott. Beside him, his loyal dog trotted happily, tongue lolling out as if none of the horrors of the night had happened. Michael pushed the door open and stepped out, smirking as he leaned against the car.
Yo, Scott, need a lift? We've got a premium ride, top-of-the-line upholstery, and...
He nodded at the dog.
Fido's welcome too.
The dog barked excitedly, tail wagging. Scott sighed, rubbing the back of his head. No one in there believed me. Not about the zombies, the witch, or the giant three-headed demon dog. They think I'm insane, and if this really is a dream, I have no idea where this portal thing you guys mentioned is. Michael shrugged.
Well, I don't know either, but lucky for you.
He held out his arms dramatically.
I'm the chosen one.
Scott frowned. And that means? Michael cracked his knuckles, then raised his hand. The air around his fingers shimmered, warping and bending like heat waves. A low hum resonated through the lot. Then, with a single sweeping motion, he tore open the sky itself. A massive portal swirling and glowing like a chasm of pure energy formed overhead. It cast an ethereal light over the pavement, its sheer presence undeniable. Scott took a deep breath, eyes widening. Holy...
Yeah,
Michael said, grinning.
Now that's a portal.
Scott exhaled sharply, looking between the Dream Warriors and the swirling gateway to the waking world. So, I just walk through and wake up? Michael shrugged, lips curling slightly.
Sure, or you'll instantly die. One or the other. But hey, life's about taking risks, right?
Scott's face drained in color, his foot involuntarily taking a half step back. Sophia groaned audibly.
Michael!
Valerie rubbed her temples.
Really? Why would you say that?
Okay.
Holding up his hands with a sheepish smirk.
It was a joke. Bad joke. You'll be fine, I promise. Portal wakes you up, no strings attached. Go home, hug your dog.
Scott exhaled, still uncertain, but after glancing to each of them, their faces sincere, even with Michael's teasing, he gave a small nod. Thank you. All of you. He waved lightly before stepping toward the shimmering vortex. His dog followed happily, tail wagging as the two crossed into the light. In moments, both were gone, and the portal's glow flickered before closing behind them. Sophia turned to Michael, arms crossed.
What was that?
Relax, it was just a joke,
Michael said, stuffing his hands into his pockets.
No harm done.
Sophia rolled her eyes as they all stepped toward the portal. One by one, the Dream Warriors entered. The swirling energy consumed them. As the last one of them passed through, the portal collapsed, vanishing in a final pulse of light. Back on Terminus, the ethereal throne room gleamed with soft, shifting light. Libra stood at Gemini's side, his expression calm and composed. Another dreamer saved, he said, a hint of admiration in his voice. These Dream Warriors, they're far more capable than many of the other Zodiac Kings have given them credit for. Across the hall, Cancer leaned forward from his seat, his cold gaze fixed on Gemini. Capable, he mused with a faint sneer. Perhaps. But power? They will never match a Zodiac King, no matter how much faith you pour into them. Comparing their strength to ours is like comparing an ant to a god. Gemini met Cancer's words with an even, thoughtful stare, unmoved. I know what they are, he replied quietly, and what we are. He turned, gazing out toward the distant dreamscape, the endless sea of intertwined worlds still waiting to be protected. But I also know what they will become, and with their help, we'll accomplish what we need to. His gaze hardened with quiet resolve, his intentions clear to him alone. Whatever goal he sought wasn't spoken aloud, not yet.